My name is Bianca Moore. I'm 28 years old. Last Mother's Day, my mother sent me a bill for $347,000 for raising me. She copied all 48 relatives. She thought I'd cry and apologize. But I replied with a single photo. By morning, 47 had blocked her. The 48th, my grandmother, did something far worse. I'm a financial analyst in Boston. Numbers don't lie. People do, especially my family. I have a 600 square foot apartment I've paid for myself since 22. My sister Vicky, 3 years older, got an $80,000 down payment for her house. I found out through Instagram. When I graduated college, Mom texted, "Congratulations," 3 weeks late with no exclamation point. When Vicky made junior partner, they threw her a party with catered champagne. Marcus asks why I still go to family gatherings. I never have a good answer. Maybe I kept hoping if I tried harder, stayed quieter, she'd finally look at me the way she looks at Vicky. But working in finance taught me one lesson. Numbers don't lie. People do. I just didn't know how much my mother had been lying. At my college graduation in 2019, I walked across the stage at Boston University with a finance degree. I searched for my family. Dad was there, smiling. Mom's seat was empty. She had a migraine, too severe to drive 2 hours. 1 week later, she flew to New York for Vicky's firm awards ceremony and posted 12 photos on Facebook about her brilliant lawyer daughter. Growing up, Vicky was the golden child. I was the difficult one. She got praise for grades. I got questions about why mine weren't higher. Her achievements were celebrated. Mine were overlooked. Dad tried in his quiet way, patting my shoulder after Mom's sharper comments. "Your mother means well," he'd say. "She just has a harder time expressing it with you." Both Vicky and I were supposed to have education funds from Grandma and Grandpa. Same amount. Vicky graduated debt-free. I graduated with $67,000 in student loans. Mom told me my fund ran out because of unexpected expenses, tutoring, summer programs. I didn't question it. Numbers have a way of telling the truth, and 3 years ago, I started looking at the numbers. 2 weeks before Mother's Day, Mom announced a family reunion. 48 people total at Grandma Eleanor's Connecticut farmhouse. Something about the timing felt like a setup. That night, I opened my laptop and went to a folder I keep buried 3 levels deep. I named it Insurance. Inside were 3 files, a screenshot, a PDF, and a spreadsheet. I'd been collecting these for 3 years. I told myself I'd probably never use them. But something about Mom's announcement made me feel like I was the punchline. Mother's Day morning, I arrived at 7 a.m. The old white colonial looked the same. Wraparound porch, blue shutters, the kind of house that holds generations of memories. Not all good. I spent 4 hours cooking, cleaning, arranging flowers, setting 48 place settings. Vicky arrived at 11:30 wearing a cream silk dress, carrying peonies. She kissed Mom on both cheeks, complimenting decorations I'd put up. "Everything looks perfect," she said. Mom smiled. I had a little help. She didn't look at me. By noon, the house was full. Aunts and uncles I saw once a year. Cousins I barely knew. Their kids running through hallways. The smell of the roast I'd prepared since dawn. Mom moved through the crowd like a queen, accepting hugs in the spotlight. I stayed near the kitchen. During the family photo, Mom positioned Vicky beside her. When I stepped forward, she glanced at me. "Bianca, honey, stand in the back. You're taller." Grandma Eleanor appeared beside me and squeezed my elbow. "Whatever happens today," she said quietly, "hold your ground." The toast began after lunch. Uncle Robert, then Aunt Patricia, then cousin after cousin praised mothers, praised Mom. I stayed quiet. Then Mom stood up, smoothed her lavender dress, picked up her wine glass. "Thank you all for being here," she began. "Being a mother is the most rewarding job in the world, but also the hardest. I've been blessed with 2 daughters, 2 very different daughters, one who has made me proud every single day and one who has tested me." Eyes shifted toward me. I felt them like heat. "I've thought long and hard about how to express what motherhood really means, the sacrifices we make, the costs we bear." She pulled out her phone. "So I've prepared something special." Her thumb moved across the screen. Around the room, phones began to buzz. Ding after ding after ding. 48 notifications in rapid succession. I want everyone to see exactly what it cost, Mom said, her eyes finding mine. To raise a disappointment. The email subject line read, "The cost of raising a disappointment." The body was an itemized spreadsheet of 28 years of my existence. Hospital birth costs, $12,400. Diapers, $2,800. Childhood clothing, $15,600. Braces, $8,000. Summer camps, $4,500. First car, $12,000. College, $48,000. Cell phone bills, $8,400. On and on. $347,000. Mom read selections aloud, her voice carrying across the silent room. Orthodontia, $8,000. Does she ever say thank you? Birthday parties, $200 over 18 years? Did she ever appreciate a single one? Someone laughed nervously. Someone shifted in their chair. I stood frozen by the kitchen doorway. 48 pairs of eyes on me. She'd framed a printed copy in a gilded frame and hung it above the fireplace next to the family portrait. "A reminder," she said, "for all of us." The room waited for me to cry, to apologize, to shrink. I'd done it before. Every family gathering, every holiday, every phone call. But not today. My hands weren't shaking because buried in my phone was that folder. Insurance. I didn't move. I let the silence stretch. Let Mom bask in what she thought was victory. Then I spoke. "Mom, since we're sharing numbers today, I have some of my own." The smirk on her face flickered. "What are you doing?" she asked. I smiled. "Balancing the books." I walked toward the center of the room. Every step echoed. Conversations died. Even the children had gone quiet. "Keep your phones handy," I said. My voice was steady, professional. "Because I'm about to send you something too." "Bianca," Mom's tone shifted. "This isn't the time." "Actually, it's the perfect time. You calculated what I cost you, Mom. Seems only fair I calculate what you cost me." I opened my email app, selected all 48 family contacts. "Bianca, whatever you think you're doing?" "I'm doing exactly what you taught me. I'm showing receipts." I pressed send. Ding, ding, ding. One after another. 48 phones lit up. Uncle Robert was the first to look up at Mom with a different expression. "Linda?" he said slowly. "What is this?" The first attachment was a PDF. "Mom, you charged me for college in your little bill. Room and board, textbooks, living expenses. But here's the thing. I paid for college myself. $67,000 in student loans, still paying them off." Murmurs rippled through the room. "That's because my college fund ran out, right? That's what you told me. Except I work in finance now, and I know how to trace money." I turned to face the room. Grandma and Grandpa Harrison set up education trusts for both Vicky and me when we were children. Same amount, $89,000 each. Vicky used hers, graduated debt-free. My trust was withdrawn in full on August 3, 2016. 1 month before I started college, the money was transferred to an account belonging to Linda Moore. Aunt Patricia's hand went to her mouth. $89,000, gone into Mom's personal account. 1 week later, I continued. "She purchased a new Lexus. Cash. That money was for family expenses," Mom said defensively. "I understand bank records." I kept my voice level. "I understand wire transfers. I understand that you stole my college fund and let me drown in debt while you drove a luxury car." Dad stood up slowly. His face had gone pale. "Linda," he said quietly, "is this true?" Mom opened her mouth, but I wasn't finished. "That's just the beginning," I said. I opened the second attachment. "For the past 2 years, I've been getting strange letters from the IRS, audits. Then I hired a CPA to dig deeper. I turned the phone so people nearby could see the screen. Columns of numbers, dates, filings. From 2018 to 2024, Mom claimed me as a dependent on her federal taxes. 6 consecutive years. I was 22 in 2018, living in my own apartment, paying my own rent, insurance, everything. I haven't been anyone's dependent since I was 21. The implication landed. I watched it spread across faces. Each year, she received between $4,000 and $6,000 in tax benefits from claiming me. Total, approximately $32,000. Tax fraud using my social security number. Uncle George spoke up, his voice grim. That's a federal crime. I know, I said, looking at Mom. I had to hire a CPA to clean up the mess. $3,400 out of my own pocket to fix what you did. Dad's hands gripped the table. Linda, you told me Bianca agreed to this arrangement. Richard, stay out of this, Mom said, but it was too late. The room was shifting. There's one more thing, I said quietly. I didn't open the third file yet. Mom, do you remember when I applied for my first apartment after college, the one in Cambridge? I got rejected. The landlord told me my credit score was 520. I was 22 years old with a score that said I was a financial disaster. I'd never missed a payment in my life. Understanding dawned in a few faces. So I pulled my credit report. Do you know what I found? I opened the third attachment. Bank statements, credit card applications, all bearing my name. 3 credit cards opened in 2016, 2017, and 2018, all using my name and social security number, all maxed out. $47,000 in debt on my record for purchases I never made. Aunt Martha gasped. This is identity theft, Uncle George said flatly. Linda, this is a federal crime. It took me 4 years to clear my name, I continued. 2 lawyers, hundreds of hours, but I kept everything, every document, every statement. Movement at the edge of the room. Vicky was standing up, reaching for her purse. Sit down, Vicky, you're not going anywhere. One of those credit cards had statements shipped to your address. The color drained from my sister's face. I didn't know. Vicky, don't, I said coldly. I have the shipping receipts, your address, your signature on delivery confirmations. You received packages in my name for 3 years. Designer bags, electronics, jewelry, including an engagement ring. $8,400 charged to a card with my name on it. Vicky's husband, Derek, stared at her hand, at the diamond glittering under the dining room lights. You wore my stolen identity to your wedding? I said. Did you know or did you just not want to know? Vicky's voice cracked. Mom said it was an emergency. She said you wouldn't find out. She told you to help her steal from me, and you did, I said. The murmurs grew to open conversation, voices rising, some in shock, some in anger, people standing reaching for coats. But there was one more file, the screenshot, the one I'd been holding for 3 years. I looked at my mother. She was pale now, trembling. There's one more file, I said. But this one is the big one. Mom saw the shift in the room. She felt it slipping away. So she did what she'd always done. Her shoulders began to shake. Her eyes glistened with tears. I can't believe this, she said, her voice cracking beautifully. I gave everything to this child. Everything. And this is how she repays me? A few relatives hesitated. Old habits die hard. We're trained from birth to comfort a crying mother. Everything I did for this family. I kept us together. I protected everyone from the truth. You protected yourself, Aunt Martha corrected quietly. That's all you ever did? Mom turned to Grandma Eleanor. Mama, please say something. You know I'm not a monster. Grandma Eleanor remained seated. Her face was stone. I'm listening, Linda, she said quietly. I'm listening to everything. Mom's desperation showed. The performance was cracking. Fine, she said. Her voice hardened. Something dangerous flickered in her eyes. You want to play this game, Bianca? Then let's talk about why I've treated you differently your whole life. There are things you don't know, things I've protected you from. There are things about you that would change everything. She thought she still had leverage. She was wrong. You're right, Mom, I said. There is something I don't know, or didn't know until 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I was at Vicky's apartment. She left her phone on the kitchen counter. A message came through from you. I kept my voice even. The color drained from Mom's face. I wasn't going to read it, but your name was there and the preview showed something I couldn't ignore. So I took a screenshot, and I've had it for 3 years. Mom's eyes widened. Bianca, don't. 3 years of you humiliating me at every holiday, every birthday, every family gathering. 3 years of me swallowing your insults and saying nothing. I never used it. I told myself I never would, that it wasn't my secret to tell, that maybe you had a reason for being the way you are. Please, Mom said, broken. Please, Bianca, whatever you think you know. I didn't come here today planning to do this, I said. My voice was steady. But you did, Mom. You planned this whole thing. You wanted to humiliate me in front of everyone. You wanted to make me the villain of your story. So now I'm going to tell the truth. I held up my phone. This is why you've hated me since the day I was born. I opened the email app, selected all 48 contacts, attached the screenshot. My thumb hovered over send. If you ever loved me, you never gave me a chance to love you, I said. I felt something crack in my chest. I spent my entire life trying to earn your love. Turns out I never had a chance. I pressed send. Notifications erupted. 48 phones, 48 dings. Mom lunged toward me. Delete it. Make them delete it. Her voice was ragged. Uncle Robert caught her arm. Linda, stop. But everyone was already looking, already reading. I watched their faces change. Confusion first, then dawning comprehension, then shock. The screenshot was a text message from Linda Moore to Victoria Moore, dated July 15th, 2023. It read, "This one isn't Richard's biological child. Don't tell anyone. If he finds out, he'll divorce me and I'll lose everything." The room went absolutely still. Then Dad spoke. "Linda." His voice was barely a whisper. "What is this?" Mom was shaking. "It's not. I can explain. That's not what it is." "Is it true?" The question hung in the air. 28 years of marriage, 28 years of loving a daughter who might not be his. Mom couldn't speak. It was Vicky who confirmed it. "It's real," she said quietly, her voice hollow. "She sent it to me 3 years ago, made me promise never to say anything." Dad made a sound, a wounded animal sound. He turned and walked toward the door. "Richard." Mom reached for him. He didn't look back. The front door opened, closed. I heard his car engine start, heard it pull away. Standing in the wreckage of her own making, my mother finally looked at me. Not with anger, with fear. Suddenly everything made sense. The differential treatment, the constant criticism, the way she looked at me like I was a reminder of something she wanted to forget. I wasn't a disappointment. I was evidence. "You spent 28 years punishing me," I said quietly. "Not because I wasn't good enough, but because every time you looked at me, you saw your own mistake." Mom's mouth opened, closed. "I was 17, she finally said. 17 and stupid. It was one time." "I don't care about what happened 29 years ago," I said. My voice was steady. "I care about what happened every day after, every insult, every comparison to Vicky, every time you made me feel worthless." Grandma Eleanor rose from her chair. She moved slowly toward Mom, stopping 3 feet away. Her face showed disgust. "I suspected," Eleanor said quietly. "For years, I suspected something wasn't right, the way you treated that girl, but I never imagined this." "Mama, please," Mom said. 28 years, Eleanor continued. "You lied to everyone, to Richard, to the entire family." She paused. "To me." Mom started to cry. Real tears now. But no one moved to comfort her. The room fractured. People began moving all at once. Voices overlapped, shocked whispers, angry questions. "I can't believe this. 28 years of lying. Poor Richard." Aunt Patricia grabbed her purse and headed for the door. Uncle George followed. Those who stayed looked at Mom differently, not with deference, but revulsion. "Everything I did for this family," Mom screamed. Her composure was completely gone. "I kept us together. I protected everyone from the truth." "You protected yourself," Aunt Martha corrected quietly. "That's all you ever did." Around the room, phones were buzzing. The exodus had begun in the family group chat. Mom lunged for my phone. Delete it. Make everyone delete it. Uncle Robert and Derek held her back. I stood motionless in the center of it all, watching 28 years of carefully constructed lies collapse in real time. Then I felt a hand on my shoulder, gentle, warm. Grandma Eleanor. "Come with me," she said softly. She guided me through the chaos, past relatives who reached out to touch my arm, past cousins who said things like, "I'm so sorry," and "I had no idea." Through the glass at the front door, I could see the driveway emptying, cars pulling out one after another. "You're still my granddaughter," Eleanor said firmly. "Blood or no blood, that doesn't change." I found Dad in the parking lot. His car was still there, engine running. He hadn't made it past the end of the driveway. Through the windshield, I could see him sitting motionless, both hands on the steering wheel. I knocked on the passenger window. He didn't respond at first. Then slowly, like waking from a dream, he reached over and unlocked the door. I slid into the seat beside him. We sat in silence. Inside the house, I could still hear muffled voices, arguments, crying. "I'm sorry," I finally said. Dad turned to look at me. His eyes were red. "Don't," he said. "Don't you dare apologize. You didn't do anything wrong. I just never wanted to hurt you." He laughed, a broken, painful sound. 28 years, he said. 28 years I've loved you, changed your diapers, taught you how to drive. His voice cracked. DNA doesn't change that. I felt tears prick my eyes for the first time all day. "You're still my dad, and you're still my daughter." He reached over and squeezed my hand. "That's the only thing I'm sure of right now. Whatever else happens, that doesn't change." He pulled me into a hug, awkward over the center console, but fierce. "You were braver than me today," he said into my hair. Then he let go, put the car in gear, and drove away. 2 months later, life found a new rhythm. My credit score climbed to 748. My student loans dropped to $23,000. Marcus and I moved in together, a new apartment in Cambridge with actual counter space. We picked it out together. No one else's opinion asked. Dad came to see it on moving day. He brought a houseplant and wine. His eyes were tired but lighter. "How are you?" I asked. "Getting there," he said. "The divorce will be finalized next month. But you know what? I don't regret a single day of being your father. Not one." We hugged for a long time. Sunday dinners became our new tradition, just us. Sometimes Marcus joined, sometimes Grandma Eleanor drove down from Connecticut. Simple, quiet hours. 3 weeks later, an envelope arrived, postmarked from Ohio. Inside was a letter. "Dear Miss Moore, I received your DNA profile through 23andMe. My name is Michael. I believe I may be your father. I'm not seeking anything from you. I just thought you should know I exist. If you ever want to talk, I'm here." I stared at the letter for 3 days before showing Marcus. "What are you thinking?" he asked. "I don't know. I've spent 28 years with one father. Now there might be two." I paused. But Michael's being respectful, not demanding anything, just making himself known. Maybe someday I'll want to know him. But not now. I opened my laptop and composed an email. "Dear Michael, I received your letter. Thank you for reaching out with such respect. I'm not ready to meet yet. I need time to process everything. For now, thank you for letting me know you exist. I'll reach out when and if I'm ready." I hit send. Some answers can wait. She showed up on a Tuesday. I was leaving my office building when I saw her standing by the entrance, thinner, older, the designer clothes replaced by something simpler. "Bianca, wait," she called. I stopped but didn't turn around. "I've been trying to reach you. You blocked my number. My emails bounced back." "That's intentional," I said. "I know. I've been thinking, and I wanted to say—" "Stop," I said. She froze. "You don't get to show up at my workplace and pretend we're having a reconciliation moment. That's not how boundaries work. I'm your mother. You're the woman who stole from me, lied about me, and abused me for 28 years, I said. My voice was still wrapped in silk. "We're nothing. You can't just cut me out forever. I'm cutting you out until you learn that my no means no. That might be forever. That's your choice now." Her face crumpled. For a moment, I saw the 17-year-old girl who'd made a mistake and spent decades trying to bury it. But sympathy and boundaries aren't mutually exclusive. "Goodbye, Mom." I walked past her to my car. As I pulled out of the parking lot, I caught a glimpse of her in the rear-view mirror, still standing there, watching me go. My hands were steady on the steering wheel. For the first time in my life, they weren't shaking. That's what freedom feels like. If you're listening to this and seeing yourself in it, I want to tell you something. You are not what they call you. You're not the disappointment. You're not the difficult one. You're not the problem child or the black sheep. Sometimes the people closest to us are the ones who hurt us the most. Setting boundaries with them isn't selfish, it's survival. My mother sent me a bill for $347,000. She calculated the cost of my diapers and braces and birthday parties. But she never calculated the cost of what she did to me. The years of wondering why I wasn't good enough, the nights crying alone, the opportunities stolen, the confidence crushed. There's no price tag for that. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe someday I'll speak to her again, maybe I won't. But for the first time in my life, that's my choice. Dad and I have dinner every Sunday. Grandma Eleanor calls every Wednesday. I'm rebuilding connections with cousins and aunts who finally see me clearly. Marcus asked me last week if I wanted to look at engagement rings. I said yes. Life goes on. Different. Better. Mine. I'm Bianca Moore, and my bill is paid in full.